So I can hear okay, but I can't see well, and I'm having to go up here to see the screen. So that means I've got to work on seeing because people in film need to see.
So do you have bifocals or progressive lenses or what?
Progressive lenses, and the only distance I really look at is the ones that is very narrow.
Yeah.
It's dumb. It's so I've got to go to somebody who gets it, which probably means somebody that's young enough to realize what people like me do. So that's part of my thing. Didn't record the rest of our discussion. The break for our sponsor was it. Special effects programming took over.
And I forget what we talked about, so I don't know. Were we towards the end of it anyway? I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's stuff that at least I got the practice to speak better. Even though I didn't have it recorded, it really helps that I can interact with you. I'm working on improving speaking for what I want to do.
Practicing by talking with me helps you do that better.
So I'm watching Mulholland Drive, favorite uh, director of mine, David Lynch, all dreamlike stuff. And I haven't even watched it all the way through yet. I think about dreams. In fact, it's part of my language. I have realized that other people don't talk about their dreams, nighttime dreams, their daytime dreams, and I do. It resonates with me.
Is that something you want to incorporate into your film?
Yes.
And how do you want to?
I don't know how to do it here. Sustained suspense is the way to engage people with that story. I get it, but I don't get it. And I want to go back and see it again, but I want to see what's next. I'll play it, the story all the way through in my mind's eye. Rather than go back and understand every detail before I move on to the next, I go deep, even though it's probably an error, and then work out through my right brain the causal relationships that my mind assumes, and go back to the beginning, and then thread through it and how I would um, modify not only of that story, but in.
Sorry about that. Hold on, that's Dan. Hold on a second. Hey, Dan. Hey, guess what? Well, I'm fine. I thought, who's calling me this time of day? And I happen to be on FaceTime with Buzz right at the moment. So yeah. So anyway, he is in the midst of a very deep conversation, and I messed up his train of thought. So why don't I call you back in a little bit? I will do that. Okay, see you. So there, he called out of the blue. How about that?
It's very David Lynch.
What's that? Really?
Well, I mean, this is really. You just have to see it to believe what he does. And
well, I'm sorry I messed up your train of thought, Buzz, because you were helping describe to me how you were using the ideas. What's that?
Deep. Go deep. Yeah. Rather than precisely correct, it's to go deep and then play it back and modify the discovery that I've made since. Oh, isn't this ugly? That's how I look. Release that.
You interrupted. You just interrupted yourself.
Oh, but I see my enemies up there, and I realize why Brad is wondering if I'm ever ready for prime time because I'm such a train wreck visually.
Well, you're getting off the subject, so go back to your story about, please, because I want to get it. I want to get the idea of your um, life is, you do a lot of dreaming. You talk about your dreams. You have nighttime and you have daytime dreams. And in the Lynch film, Mulholland Drive, it was like a dream-like movie. You felt like you were in a dream, and in order to follow the plot, sometimes you have to take something as you see it, on the screen or whatever, and then you delve deep into your own sort of perception of what that means, and then you go back out and see the rest of it. But then you go, well, wait a minute, was that really what they meant by that scene? And was my perception correct? And I think you're saying that by seeing the movie over and over again, you finally get the whole picture better, but I'm not sure why.
So here's the part that I would differ from your talk on this subject. It is that the best directors are ones that don't fill in all the detail so that people's identity can follow along. Now, the people who, like David Lynch, he wrote this story and then he directed it, and he has lots of people around him, tells the story from his point of view. The pattern isn't a specific individual pattern, it's a generic pattern or patterns that engage audience members deeply. So it's not so much that you get it right or you get it wrong, it's to answer the questions of why that binary answer is insufficient.
What's the binary answer?
Yes or no.
Yeah.
Or is it right or isn't it right? Correct or not correct? That's binary. Two choices.
Right. Okay. And so you're saying that his method is a generic method.
Not very, because you don't
Okay.
learn it. You have to use the mind at its best, so it cannot be repeated.
Okay. So when you use the term generic, you were referring, I thought, to
Good
the
stories. Not the story, good stories. Generic.
So you were, I think, talking about, well, help me, because when you talked about the David Lynch movie and how it resonated with you, were you talking about it in your own experience of day-to-day living, or in terms of how you want to produce the film that you're talking about?
Both. The motive for me is when I don't feel good, paranoia. When I do feel good, it makes me inventive, creative, agent of change, so that the people I love can participate in something I'm doing, and I, in turn, can participate in something they are doing. Creative collaboration. It is better for us.
What is better for us?
We are social creatures and want to do better with our minds. That's what we do. That's
Yep.
how we survive. This is why it's cool to be here, in my opinion.